My name's Kevin Voll. I am the product manager at Eppendorf for benchtop bioprocess. Today, I'd like to talk to you about an upcoming product that we have scheduled for early 2015, but we wanted to give you some more information. We wanted to inform the market, inform our customers, inform some of our internal employees about the product information. We're very excited about this product. So without further ado, I'll get started. A brief introduction into what we do at Eppendorf Bioprocess. As many of you may know, Eppendorf acquired New Brunswick in 2007, and New Brunswick products since the early 1960s have been an industry leader and an innovative supplier in the bioprocess market. So for more than 50 years, we've built a reputation as a high-level bioprocess supplier. If you can see, throughout the years, early 60s, we had the MultiGen line. 80s, we've evolved into the BioFlo 2 and 3. The 90s and the early 2000s, we were able to offer the BioFlo 3000 and CelliGen Plus product lines. And then the late 2000s and early 2010, we were offering the BioFlo and CelliGen 310. Now, this was all under the corporate structure of New Brunswick Scientific. At the onset of Eppendorf's acquisition in 2007, we were offering the 310. This is the first product, the Eppendorf BioFlo 320, that is launched under a 100% Eppendorf Bioprocess name. So we really feel that this is the next generation, the next step into bioprocess. For us, this is what we feel is a state-of-the-art package. It combines all of the needs of our market, of markets that we've been aware of. And today I'm just going to give you a brief overview of all of the features and functions that we have. Obviously, it's a very complex piece of equipment, but hopefully you get a very good picture of the product we're offering. We have updated the design to look and feel more like an Eppendorf product. So many of you may be aware of the design qualities of Eppendorf products throughout the world. Centrifugation. If you look at the picture on the right of your screen, you can see that the updated look and feel of the product is very Eppendorf. We have included flexibility between all of our vessels, autoclavable, single use, and this is really intended as a seamless integration of all these vessels. This is, over the years, we've heard that the number one driver for product needs in the market is flexibility. So really the number one goal in this product development was to ensure that we incorporate the right amount of flexibility for our market, for our customers' needs. We've included intelligent sensors, so I'll get into this a little later, but the intelligent sensors, we've integrated the digital Mettler-Toledo ISM platform. So that's a very exciting and new feature for us within our bioprocess products. We've used now for communication to our SCADA and between our systems, Ethernet connectivity. So now over active IP network, we have seamless integration of multiple unit installs as well as overarching SCADA systems. So this allows us for faster communication. This allows us for more ease of connectivity, readily available cord sets in the market. It's a very simple design. And then again, we're now offering an enhanced software package, so that's one of the feature sets that I'll get into later on in the presentation. So to get into more specifics, like I had mentioned earlier, the goal of the development of this product is to ensure that we offer the right product for our customers. And over the years, just ensuring that we keep an eye out for what our customers' needs are, we've seen that the term flexibility is the number one term that we see in the market. This is not just flexibility between vessels, but this is flexibility between processes. So this was our goal, to offer a product that is flexible for our customers. And I think we've achieved that, and we're very excited to offer this product. So just to give you an overview of the flexibility of our vessels. So we have always offered 1 through 10 liter in autoclavable working volumes, but we also have built a portfolio of single-use vessels. So these are the BioBLU single-use vessels. They're unique in the market today as they are the largest portfolio of rigid-walled stirred tank single-use vessels. And the BioFlo 320, during the development, we ensured that we were able to utilize our entire portfolio of both autoclavable and single-use vessels on one control station. And that's very unique in the marketplace today because typically these single-use systems and the autoclavable and SIP systems are separated, or at least they require a lot of rework or change to their configuration in order to run or use either vessel within your process. And the design of the system is really intended to use either or and the seamless transition between both. So depending on what your needs are, if your needs change throughout the years, this product is able to grow and change and adapt to the environment that it needs to be. The autoclavable vessels, we have traditionally offered a stainless steel dish bottom vessel, and this achieves our rapid heat transfer. Typically this is used for if you have rapid heat removal requirements, temperature shift requirements. This vessel is designed for rapid heat change. We have water jacketed vessels, and this gives you the gentle temperature control typically used in mammalian cell cultures, just because of the sensitivity of those cell lines. So the offering of our vessels has not changed in the autoclavable world. Now we offer these vessels with interchangeable drive bearings, so you can use either vessel with a magnetic or direct drive. So again, not just the flexibility of the vessel connections to the controller themselves, but also the flexibility within the vessel lines to use either one of our autoclavable platforms with any one of our drive bearing housings. It's just another added layer of flexibility that we've incorporated into the product. And as we've always offered, we have a variety of impellers and multiple the industry standard headplate ports, so this gives you flexibility and familiarity with the design. The single-use vessels. So over the last 5 years, Eppendorf has been adding to the portfolio of single-use vessels. We currently offer vessels in a working range volume of 0.3 through 40 liters working volume, and that's in a variety of different platforms. The BioFlo 320 was designed to incorporate all of our BioBLU single-use vessels except for our 0.3 milliliter working volume vessel. So any of the other BioBLU vessels, this system was designed for direct integration and direct process control of those vessels. So we've really got an unsurpassed ability to control bench scale single-use bioprocess with the BioFlo 320. And then we also offer several unique applications with these vessels. We have a BioBLU 1F, which is our newest offering, a single-use vessel designed specifically for fermentation. This was not a cell culture, this was not a single-use cell culture vessel in which we are growing E. coli or just claiming that this is now a fermentation vessel. This was designed specifically for fermentation. So high OTRs, high RPMs, high gas flows. This is intended for the most stringent of cultures for bacteria growth. So in reality, if you look at the way the vessels are designed, they are two different vessels. Our C line is designed for our mammalian cell cultures, for insect cell lines, and the F line is designed to run the most stringent of fermentation processes. A connection for multiple units. So this is new for us, new for Eppendorf. We typically had always worked where we had master and utility stations. So now we take the same control stations, and over an active IP network, we use the Ethernet communication to connect up to 8 units to a single interface. So previously we could connect to a single interface, we could connect 4 units. The difference is that now instead of the master and utility station, we now have control stations. They're all smart stations. So in the past, you had a master control station, which the utility station is dependent upon for control. In this case, each of them is a server. It acts independently of the other units, and they communicate to the touchscreen independently. So the touchscreen is basically the interface for up to 8 units, but any of those servers can also act as an independent unit in any other lab. So again, to go back to the word flexibility, the intention of the product is that the flexibility doesn't end with just the product itself. Now you're flexible between lab spaces. If you have a 4 or 8 unit install in one lab space, and the decision is to move products throughout the world, obviously tech transfer is a very big part of our industry. This is capable in that all you need to do is move the unit to the desired lab space, and a new interface is all that's needed. There's no work that's needed inside the unit. It's already set up to work independently or as part of a multi-unit setup. We provide LED indicators on the front panel, and this is just so that when you are configuring multi-unit setups, there's an indicator. So as you assign the units within the software, you will see the unit ID indicator on the front of the unit, in which equivalent to the ID on the software. So basically, as you configure the units, they will become available in the available units window on the left-hand side of the screen, and you'll populate the unit IDs as you go. So this is just nice because then whoever the operator is at the time, they can see which unit they're working on, and there's no confusion as to which unit is which. As I mentioned, we're very excited about the integration of the intelligent sensor management platform from Mettler-Toledo. We've spent a lot of time in development on this part. The true integration of the intelligent sensor management platform is that instead of working through a transmitter, configuring that transmitter into our software, we worked to integrate that internally into our software platform. So now, instead of the third party, the accessories that were always required to run the ISM sensors, we can now bring those digital sensors directly into our product and directly into our control station. This gives us the ability to provide universal connections. So in the past, these connections were always dedicated. The analog circuitry required pH or DO, and those things could not be that could not be a combined technology. With this platform, we can now offer a sensor connection that is flexible between any of the major feedback sensors that the market needs. pH, redox, dissolved oxygen, carbon dioxide, these are all now available from one sensor port. So again, the flexibility of the system is now driven into even the feedback sensors, where you can pick, you can choose which sensor you'd like to connect to the unit. The connection and the detection is now an automated system, because the brain or the chip within the ISM sensor records all the information, including which sensor type it is. Our software now communicates seamlessly with that chip. Once the connection is made, the unit is available. So the unit picks up the connection. It determines which sensor is connected, and then it also builds the loop for control. So there really is no work needed on the user end. Determine which sensor you want to use, connect it to the controller, and the controller is now ready to go. With the inclusion of the digital sensors, we also wanted to ensure that we do not remove the traditional analog circuitry. So we've seen where, because of the digital platforms, the flexibility between the sensors is great. However, we did not want to remove the flexibility, the choice of the user to continue using the sensors that they're using today. So we've built into each sensor port the analog circuitry that was traditionally seen on all Eppendorf products. So the sensor ports, sensors 1 and 3, sensors 2 and 4, they still have dedicated sensor ports for the analog circuitry that you've seen today, pH and redox and dissolved oxygen. So if your choice is to remain with the traditional sensor, we can do that as well from the same port. So flexibility with a digital sensor across all platforms, and then also flexibility between analog and digital circuitry. One of the new features of the system is that we've added a 4th integrated front panel mounted pump. So with the unit, you can now have 3 pumps, fixed or variable speed, as well as a 4th pump that you can add as a fixed or variable speed. And the uniqueness of this design is really that now the user can define whether or not this pump is a fixed or variable speed pump. That's very different from a traditional offering in which the user had to decide up front, the operator has to decide up front which pump to purchase. In this case, the pumps, it's the same pump. So all 4 pumps now are the same, regardless of whether or not the user would like fixed or variable speed. The decision now, all the user has to do is go into the software and tell the pump what it is. You can tell it to work in variable speed mode, or you can tell the pump to work in fixed speed duty cycle. And that's a very new feature for us, and it's a very exciting feature for us because now we have basically 2 pumps in one. We've also added the ability to change the direction of the pump because what we've seen is many installs, there's wrapped pump tubing so that you can achieve harvest, you can achieve feed, and in this case, all that's needed is to go into the software and tell the pump which direction you'd like it to rotate, and now the install is much cleaner with your addition bottles as well as with your harvest. As you can see, the fixed speed mode that I had discussed, you can work at the full RPM of the pump with a duty cycle, or you can work in variable speed modes in which now the pump will just work at a percentage of its max RPM like a variable speed pump. The external variable speed pumps, so in addition to the 4 front mounted pumps, we also offer 2 integrated connections for the Watson-Marlow 120U variable speed pumps. These are dedicated connections on the side of the controller. These will bring these pumps into the software just as the 4 front panel mounted pumps. So true integration into the software. All that's needed is 1 cable set. These pumps work from 0.1 to 200 RPM. So if you need a higher RPM for any reason, we can now integrate directly these external variable speed pumps. And the clockwise and counterclockwise rotation is also available with these. So in total, the system, a software, an integrated pump, you can connect up to 6 pumps for a single process. New motor assemblies. So all of our motor assemblies are now brushless, direct or magnetic drive. It's irregardless. And again, the uniqueness of this assembly is that each of our motors is now able to achieve a clockwise and a counterclockwise rotation direction. And what this gives us is it gives us an advantage in that for any reason, if your process needs to change between an upflow and a downflow, instead of new hardware, new impeller types, work does not need to be done in order to achieve the upflow or downflow. Again, you go into the software and define the rotation on the software. So flexibility at the touch of a button is really what we're trying to achieve here, and I think we have, in that the customer now, instead of requiring extra hardware, added work, more effort, all that's needed is to go into the software and define the rotation of the motor. And you can see the interchangeability of the magnetic direct drive. That's what I'm trying to articulate here, is that within the same vessel you can be flexible in rotation direction. You can also be flexible between magnetic and direct drive. And just to give you an idea of what we offer, our direct drive system, we offer 1 motor with one motor assembly. It operates up to 1200 RPM. In our magnetic drive motor assemblies, we now offer 3 magnetic drive motor assemblies. All the same base motor, however, now we offer 3 different magnetic couplings to 3 different magnetic drive vessels. So you can see our autoclavable vessels, we offer an assembly specific to the autoclavable vessel. We offer assemblies specific to our single-use vessels. This is our larger single-use vessels for our BioBLU 5, 14, and 50 vessels. And then we also offer an assembly specific to our BioBLU 1 vessels. And the nice thing here is that because they use the same base motor, we offer separate adapters, headplate adapters and magnets that can take the same base motor, and now it's functional for the other vessels. So again, to drive it home, the flexibility is also incorporated into the use of the same base magnetic drive motor as well. Impellers. We've always offered a very large portfolio of standard and Eppendorf exclusive impellers. We've also now integrated a true Rushton design into the 320 vessels. This is depicted on the bottom left-hand corner. And we're still able to achieve some of the same high KLAs and OTRs that we've always achieved in fermentation. Our vessels have been shown to achieve more than 350 millimoles per liter per hour, which is extremely high. And it's one of the highest in the market today, and there's no change here. We were just able to incorporate a true Rushton design, which is basically, you see the fin bisecting the disc. On the right hand side, you see a depiction of some of the proprietary impellers that we offer. The cell lift impeller for a bubble-free aeration. This is a depiction of the draft tube impeller, which is used for our packed bed reactor, incorporating our fiber cell discs. Universal control, so flexibility in product and hardware, and also flexibility in our software control platform. And obviously the term universal is intended to show that it's universal to the process. It's irregardless of the process that's being controlled. And the way we achieve this is basically an open software platform where we don't determine that, where the determination between a fermentation, a microbiological process, and a mammalian cell culture process does not need to be made during the purchase. This is a universal control station that does not have a restriction on the process in which it controls. We do this. Our ability to do this is driven by we are offering interchangeable drawers. So if you look at the picture on the bottom, you can see that instead of a very difficult and cumbersome change out of a thermal mass flow controller, the user, not a service rep, the user has the ability to remove a thermal mass flow control drawer, which includes all of the control parts necessary for sparge gas. This includes mixing and flow, and they're able to now remove that drawer and insert a new drawer. And what this offers to our customers, what this offers to the operator, is that they can now achieve high flow with single TMFC for very basic microbial fermentation processes. And in the future, if for some reason they're now working on a very specific, very exclusive mammalian cell culture process that requires individual flows at a very low end, we can now offer that in just a new drawer. There's no new control station needed. There's no visit from our service team needed. This is a simple change out. 2 screws are removed, the drawer is pulled out of the control station, a new drawer is added. Because we use digital thermal mass flow controllers, the system detects the drawer that's added and automatically configures the software to the drawer that has been installed. So again, this can be done, and I've done it myself, this can be done in under 5 minutes. So the ability to change a system, the control abilities of a system in under 5 minutes is really new for us, and it's really new to the market. And we do the same with our overlay drawer, the headspace gas. So this is, we don't offer the same number of configurations. In this case, it's a yes or a no in terms of if it's installed. But if it's not installed up front during the buying process and it's needed down the road, or vice versa, if it's purchased up front and not needed down the road, it can be added or removed in the same time frame, less than 5 minutes. The system will automatically detect whether or not it's there, and it will automatically populate the software as needed. One of the updates for us is a syringe style sampling. We've moved to this on all of our single-use products, and now we're starting to incorporate it on our autoclavables. It includes the sampling tube, which is very standard in the autoclavable vessel, but also a swabbable, needle-free Lohr style connection for the syringe sampling device. And then the scales that we offer for integration, we have a direct integration of a single scale for vessel volume. This populates a volume loop, so you can use that loop for control. You can do harvest, you can do volume-based harvest, volume-based feed additions. Those things can be controlled via the software, and we also offer addition scales that can be connected via RS-232 to USB, and again, these can be directly integrated into our software for any sophisticated control strategies that you may have. The Ethernet switch, so as mentioned previously, you can connect up to 8 units and control through a single interface, and this is done via Ethernet, so this is a very, very simple connection. This is one switch with up to 8 Ethernet cables, which are readily available, and once the connections are made, the units seamlessly speak to one another. Just to give you a quick rundown on the updates to our industrial look to the feel of the unit, we've added stainless steel to any of the touch points where the utility panel or on the front panel as shown on the right. We have the power switch with a mechanical disconnect, which provides an added level of safety, integrated unit ID, and 4 available front-mounted peristaltic pumps. The utility panel on the right-hand side, it shows all of the connections for your process control. So universal connections for the interchangeable motor assemblies are on the top. You can see where the drawers are inserted for the Sparge and overlay gas, which is right below the motor connections. The universal sensor connections are within the electronics bank right here. That entire bank of electronic connectors is rated to IP68, so we've incorporated a very robust protection of the sensitive electronics using the ingress protection connectors. And then we also have a water recirculation drawer, and this drawer on the bottom here is also designed the same as the Sparge and overlay gas drawer, where 2 screws are removed and the entire water recirculation assembly, including the heater cartridge, can be removed. So this allows for it allows for a much more service friendly, it allows for a much more ease of installation for any reason. If there's an issue with that water recirculation drawer, the downtime is mitigated, the downtime is reduced because of this drawer design. And then our back panel includes our analog input connections, which are flexible between voltage and milliamps, so any ancillary device can be connected provided it works between 0 and 10 volt and 4 to 20 milliamp, and our software can pick up those signals and can integrate that into the software, whether it be a transmitter for turbidity through a we've seen for pressure equipment. Provided it works on those communication platforms, our software can talk to it. We offer the 2 USB ports. As you can see on the bottom picture, those are used for software updates and also the RS-232 serial communication to USB, the Ethernet port for IP network, and then our power entry module, which is, again, we added an ingress protection rating of 22 to the power entry to protect the sensitive supply, the alternating current supply. Now, all of these features, many of them are new to us. Many of them are new to the market. All of these features are packed in it's a very compact footprint. So if you can see here, what I've shown is a twin configuration. So in our mind, it's actually a mirror configuration, because what we now offer is right and left-handed. So the intent here is that you can really put two systems together with 10-liter vessels. This is a 10-liter autoclavable vessel in less than 50 inches of lab space. That is a very compact footprint for a product that's designed to be as flexible and as robust as it is. At this point in time, there's very few products on the market that can compete with this footprint, especially if you look at a single footprint. And the reason we're able to achieve this is one of the nice traditional pieces of the design that we've kept from the New Brunswick products is what we call the vessel nest. And you can see the way the curve that's built into the system itself, it allows for the vessel to be placed kind of next to and in front of the unit, which is impossible if you have a square unit. If you have a square unit, the depth of the unit makes it impossible to place the vessel in front of the system. So your width, your lab space, you require that vessel to be next to the unit. When that happens, overall the width is increased far beyond what the BioFlo 320's footprint is. So all of these features, all of these benefits are packed into a very compact footprint. The touchscreen monitor that we offer is updated for a capacitive touchscreen. It's a full glass display, so it's a very nice look and feel. And we offer two different options. You're able to place it on a tabletop, provided it's connected to the unit that it's connected to. You have 1 meter of distance. The rest of the units, they're all dependent upon the length of Ethernet cable you run. So really the configuration within your lab is very flexible as well, because of the Ethernet communication between the systems. And then we also offer a single pivot arm if the desire is to mount the touchscreen directly to the control station. To give you a brief overview of the software, many of the features that I've already discussed obviously require or are inclusive of the software, but I wanted to give you a look, give our customers a look at what our enhanced software will look and feel like moving forward, what Eppendorf bioprocess software will look like. Obviously, we've updated that look and feel. The control of the 8 systems is a software implementation. We have automatic gas mixing algorithms, which make it much easier for the user, especially the inexperienced user who's looking to gain some experience in bioprocess. We make it very easy for them, where it's pH and DO control at the touch of a button. We've implemented a new 10-point cascade, which is again a new and exciting feature for us, which really allows the sophisticated programming strategies for the expert users. If they need this sophistication in local programming, we can now offer really an unsurpassed level of sophistication in that local control. We've built in an elapsed fermentation timer, or your batch timer. So time-based control strategies are now possible locally. And then an increased amount of the trend displays that we offer per system. And just to give you some pictorial views of how that software is going to look, this is what we would call the group view screen, in which you have multiple units connected to a single interface. This example is where you would have 2 units connected to the interface, and you have the available units 3 and 4 on this window, and then you can toggle to what we would call group view 2, where you could see units 5, 6, 7, and 8. Group view setup, this is where you would configure the group view, or configure the IDs, where the available units would populate the window and the IDs would be assigned as they come in. Within the configure screen, you can see there's tabs for your security, notifications, and settings. And what your security does is allow you to define the users as administrators, operators, and supervisors. The notifications is new locally for us. Within the local control station, you can now have email and text-based notifications of any alarms. So if for any reason the supervisor of the lab, or even the operators within the lab, they want notifications of very sensitive alarms, they can get that now from set up by the local control. And then your settings tabs allows you to set the date and time and also pull in the IP address of the system. Your summary screen, this is very similar, obviously updated look and feel, but it's similar to the summary screens that we've seen on our legacy products for the Eppendorf bioprocess line. The loop, basically this gives all the pertinent information of the control loop. Synoptic view is a pictorial view of the summary, so depending on it's really a user preference as to which screen they use more often. In this case, you're seeing each loop and you're seeing the current value, the process value of that loop. So there's a little less information on the screen, but you can navigate into the loop control screens, which is the next slide, where the main interface, this is where those parameters are set. So for agitation, temperature, sensors, this is where you would set the set points and also really define how the system is going to be controlled. With pH, obviously you'd have deadband values that you would be able to set. Proportional and integral values are available for the sensors so that you can control the rate of change and also just the overall control, the overall programming for the control of the unit. And new for us is now that you can change the output mode, and this is kind of exciting because now really dependent on the process, you can tell the system how to really calculate the demand for dissolved oxygen. And this is important because the processes are very different between microaerobic, anaerobic, aerobic, mammalian cell culture, fermentation. I mean, many times the system itself needs to have some flexibility between those processes, and now we have that. You can work on the aerobic side, on only the positive output side if needed. You can work on the negative side if you only want to work with your anaerobic scale, right, for nitrogen scale for anaerobic bacteria. And then we can also open up both sides if the decision is that both oxygen and nitrogen are needed for positive and negative change. So really, again, there's that flexibility built into whatever process, even whatever sophistication is needed within the process. The software can adapt to that level of sophistication. The Sparge, this is really your gassing. These are your gas control screens for Sparge and overlay. And now there's a consolidated view of each of the Sparge and overlay and how those either thermal mass flow controllers or the mix valves are working in conjunction together in one screen. You can now see how they all work together. And one really nice feature that we've implemented over the years are these automatic gas mix algorithms, where the user, the operator, can determine if they would like to use these basic, well, they're not really basic, but these simple control strategies where the touch of a button would automate pH and DO control for the user. And we do that, and all the user needs to know is their minimum and maximum working volume, minimum and maximum flows. So it's a very simple strategy for the user where we provide the control programming. Pumps. So as you can see, you can select between fixed and variable speed as well as rotation. So those are the new features for our pump screens. Outside of that, you can still define these pumps to work across a multitude of operations, whether it be additions, harvests, acid and base cascades. All of those are still available as they always have been, but now you can determine how the pump achieves those parameters. Trend screen. This is basically just an expanded version of our previous trend screen, which we used to offer 8 loops and now we offer 12. This just gives you the ability to view more parameters in comparison to one another. We also have added where you can trend your set point versus the process value, and you can really make a good determination as to how the control strategy is working because you can compare the two next to one another now. The Cascade. So this is our our new sophisticated control strategy. This is what we're very excited about, because at this point now, each loop that you're cascading to, so you have a feedback sensor, which is a control loop. So let's say you want to control based off of your dissolved oxygen levels. You can now take that dissolved oxygen level and drive the other loops, whether they be agitation, the oxygen flow through your sparge, the airflow through your sparge, your overlay mix concentrations. These can all be driven, and they don't necessarily have to be driven linearly any longer. They can be driven with 10 independent points. So really the intent here is that the system locally can control and can really grow with the process, and also the intent is that cultures, fermentation, cell cultures, they do not grow linearly. All right? So the cascade can now be sophisticated enough to control based on those phases of growth that you see in real life cultures. So now there's almost no limitation as to how you can control locally. And one nice feature we've added is, as you build these sophisticated control strategies, you can see a graphical representation of the strategy that you're building. The visual representation makes it much more easy to understand what you're building prior to implementing those control strategies. And then the next new feature that we've added is this time-based profile, and many customers use this as a way of controlling a glucose feed over time, or you can do pH shifts over time, temperature shifts. I mean, really the possibilities are endless here, because there is no limitation to the number of data points. So if you have a 30-day run, you can set time-based profiles over that entire 30-day run locally now. So again, the whole system can run independent. The only thing that needs to be remembered is that the elapsed fermentation timer works off of a batch timer. So as needed, you need to ensure that the batch timer is running. So it links to the batch timer, which is stored locally, and then all of the EFT, the time-based profiles, run off of that. Your alarm screen, this is where you would define the alarms. So as we've always done in Eppendorf and New Brunswick, we have set point based alarms, which are just deviations from a set point, and we have absolute alarms, which are really absolute thresholds that you never want to cross. Those are really the red alert alarms, and we now offer the ability to set all these alarms from a consolidated screen. You can interlock the loops that you need, so this is really typically used for if you have a high foam alarm in which you want to shut down agitation or airflow to protect a filter. Now this has always been available from us, but now again it's from a consolidated screen, and the new piece is that you can activate the notifications per alarm. So if the level alarm is one of the more important alarms, or if agitation is one of the more important alarms, or if dissolved oxygen levels, it's really up to the operator. They can set the notification to be sent via email or via text message to the people who need to get the information, and they don't have to wait till the next day. If it happens overnight, they get the alarm immediately. And then the setup screen. So even though this is one of the last screens I'm going to go over, it's one of the most important screens. This is where the flexibility is built into the system. This flexibility, this really shows you how many different options the user has for connectivity, for configuration. So you can see our vessel type. In this box you have the ability to select autoclavable and single use. In the size you have all the different single use vessels and all the different autoclavable vessels. Temperature control, directed magnetic drive, sensors. So in this sensor 1, if an ISM sensor is connected to the port for sensor 1, you have an ISM sensor there, and that can be pH, redox, DO, or carbon dioxide. In sensor 2, the same thing. So the flexibility within the sensors. We have built-in optical pH, and this is specifically for use with the BioBLU single-use vessels. All BioBLU single-use vessels come with our built-in pre-sense spot for optical pH measurement, and now we have the ability to build in that measurement into this system, direct integrated into our control strategies. So again, that seamless integration between autoclavable and single use is available. And this is really the screen that sets up the software for use. So the possibilities, while they're not endless, they're vast. There's many possibilities for connection to this control station. Some of the additional features that we have, this is one that we've always had, the cell lift impeller. This is an exclusive impeller to Eppendorf. The gentle mixing, we have really the intention here is that you're protecting against the external shear forces. So nothing's changed here, but this is just to show the flexibility of impeller choices as well. And we also offer the exclusive packed bed impeller. So this again is for shear protection, but in this case, this creates a fixed bed environment, and it's typically used for a secreted product. So the cell lift and packed bed impellers have always been available at on our bench scale bioprocess systems, and they still are. So this is adding to the flexibility of that system. BioCommand. So BioCommand is our supervisory control and data acquisition program from New Brunswick. BioCommand is offered in the same levels that it's offered today, and now this system is just able to communicate with BioCommand through Ethernet. So it's really just the difference in communication to the SCADA systems, not a difference in SCADA. So the niceties and the simple control strategies, the icon-based block programming with BioCommand, still available, and still so the 320 can be directly integrated into any existing lab space that's using that today. We offer validation packages. So this BioFlo 320 is where Eppendorf Bioprocess really comes into the GMP world. So we offer control station validations and vessel validations, and this gives the user, the operator, the ability to integrate this product into a GMP environment. And with the addition of a bench scale reactor that can control a 50-liter single-use vessel, you're really working into the pilot and production scale of many processes. So while the system can control down to the BioBLU 1-liter vessel, you also have that ability to work into the pilot scale production with the BioBLU 50. So we offer these validation packages, which gives all the pertinent information within the device master record of the system build. And then we also offer the inspection reports that we do internally, along with a blank copy of an operational qualification for continued validation. So that's really something we offer for the end user to execute and use as a template for their process qualifications for years to come. The difference this year, the difference with this product is that now we offer control station and vessel validation separately. And the reason this is done is because of the flexibility of the control station to the vessel type that's going to be used. So one control station may be used with 3, 4, 5 different vessel types. So now there's the ability to validate those vessels individually, so that within the process, within the GMP world, all of the pieces and parts that are being used within the process are validated properly. And we offer a very similar validation package. Obviously, within the vessel validation package, we don't have the same operational qualification because it's not an operation of the vessel itself. And then if the decision is to go with single use, we offer a complete single use vessel validation package, which gives all the material information of the polymers used within that vessel, leachable and extractable data, animal-free BSE, TSE certifications, USP Class 6, so really all the pertinent information that's needed in terms of material documentation is provided for our vessels as well. And then just to kind of wrap up with a slide that depicts, again, the flexibility within the applications. And I would be, I can easily say that the applications of the BioFlo 320 are not limited to the ones that are depicted on this page. This is just, again, this is meant to indicate, this is meant to articulate that we have a product that really doesn't have a restriction as far as the application. Whatever the process requirements are, we feel that the BioFlo 320 is a system that can adapt to those requirements. It doesn't have a restriction. It doesn't place a restriction on the process. So I know it was a lot of information packed into a short amount of time. I hope I was able to give you that information. I hope you were able to get an idea as to the product that we're going to offer. As I said, this is not available yet, but this will be available very shortly. So we're very excited, and I hope you are too. And we can now open it up for any questions.
Excellent presentation, Kevin. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Now you guys have really done your homework. This is a leap forward, isn't it?
We feel it is. I mean, it's been some time coming. We spent many years making sure that when we finally come to market with our next generation, that we do it right, and we feel that we have.
Yeah, it definitely looks like you guys got it right first time. You guys nailed it.
Hope so.
I have some questions for you.
Okay.
If you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, so the first question is it fair to say that the 320 can run the 50-liter total volume single use on the benchtop? We're not talking a standalone skid and all the associated footprint, right?
Right. I mean, so just to give you an idea, I mean, I know I did a quick footprint on the systems with a 10-liter vessel, and their comparison to equivalent products is very favorable. When you start comparing the BioFlo 320 and a BioBLU 50-liter vessel, there really is no comparison. There's nothing in the market today that can even compare to the footprint. I mean, it is very compact for that scale, for that volume scale.
That's what I was curious. I mean, that's just stunning that the footprint is so minimal. It's great. The next question is that I guess you mentioned before, you guys are up to a 1-to-8 configuration, i.e. one controller and 8 towers or stations.
That's right. That's right. So really, what that gives that gives a lot of flexibility, and these can be added as they come. So they're obviously not configured by us. The system, as soon as one is connected, if there's 3 initially connected and 1 more is connected to the network, the interface will pick up the IP address of that system, and it can be seamlessly integrated into the configuration. So it can be added or deleted, and as I mentioned, you can split up the configuration between labs. So again, the flexibility of the install base is also built in to the product itself.
So they are truly smart, like you alluded to. That's great.
Yep, that was the intention.
Can the units be blind? So I guess there's some question about whether or not they can be blind and operated off of that one OS, one touchscreen.
Can they be blind? I'm not 100% sure there, but an individual unit, so the multi-unit configuration is not required. So each unit can be configured with a touchscreen, and that touchscreen is directly connected through standard VGA and USB to a single unit. And that's even with the multi-unit control. One unit still needs to have the touchscreen connected. After that,
we'll talk to it. Yeah. Excellent. You alluded to the new smart sensor technology. Somebody wants to know, does it support the other sensors, your more classical electrochemical sensors?
Yeah, and that was one of the things that we made sure that we built in. So each port, that's why what I tried to articulate is that each port is a universal port, so that the digital communication and the analog communication is built in there as well. So really the only change that's needed is obviously you can determine which sensor, and then each sensor just needs a separate, it has a new cable. You connect the right cable, and then it basically the communication is built in.
So the system's agnostic. It's neutral as far as what sensor can, whatever sensor supplier you want to use, it will support. That's great.
That was the intention.
And the next question here has to do with the pumps. So the total pump count can go up as high as 6?
6 per control tower, and also, I mean, because we have 3 integrated analog input outputs, in reality, you can use those 3 to also connect 3 separate external standalone pumps. So if you wanted to talk numbers, technically you could put 9 on there, but we direct integrate 6 into our software.
So it can operate or run the most complex feed strategies. You're not going to, you know, outrun it as far as its capabilities.
I don't believe so. I don't think there's too many processes out there that require 6 or more feeds.
I sure hope not. And the pumps, the question here was, the pumps are bidirectional. They can go either way based on the configuration?
Yeah, the pumps are bidirectional, and really it will make, and what we've seen here is it makes for a very, very clean install. All of your additions and harvest, the bottles can be placed to the side of the system or between 2 systems, and the clutter from the wrap tubing that you see on some of our legacy equipment, some of the other equipment in the market, it just doesn't exist. It passes through the pump head, and the pump head pushes it in one direction or the other.
That's nice. Makes it more manageable. The next question had to do with service. You alluded to the idea that you could do field service, like changing out the NFCs and stuff. Is that really practical? I mean, is that something you feel confidence in? That can be done, no problem?
Oh, I know it can be done. I've done it myself, and I'm not an engineer. I'm not a field service tech. So it's done with, they've used I don't know if it's a new technology, but each of the drawers come with what's called a blind mate connect. So the connections are built into each drawer, and it's built into each control station. So really all you have to do is slide it into the location, connect the screws, and then the system takes over from there. So I've done it, and I've seen it go from 1 TMFC to 4 TMFCs, and then you're ready to go for whatever the new process is.
That's fantastic. So that really plays back to your original message about absolute configurability, the flexibility of the system.
Yeah, and this is flexibility not just on when you buy it. It's flexibility. It's flexibility at any point in the life of the product. I mean, really, if 5 years down the road the process changes, it's not that you need a new product. It's just that you need a slight modification.